Hi everybody, this is a video from Willie's American Guitars on Martin guitars. And we got a guitar in the other day that's very exciting and I'm compelled to show it to you. I can't stress enough how important Martin guitar is in our whole culture. The American culture, the worldwide culture. In America, we invented jazz music in the 20s, 100 years ago, after the last pandemic. Jazz music, we invented it. Blues really blew up then too. Country music, we invented country music. Folk music, now we didn't invent folk music because each region has its own folk music, but we invented the tools that made it possible, these portable polyphonic instruments. And our country music with guys like Bob Dylan, boom, spread out to the rest of the world. And we invented rock and roll. And when you think of some of the most powerful imagery of thousands of people protesting war, people getting together for joy, Woodstock, you think of Martin guitars, John Lennon, Elvis, Hank Williams, Joan Baez, there's Bob Dylan. It is the Martin Guitar Company that is behind this. And even in the 1800s, Martin was considered superior. It's all about the woods, baby, and it's all about the Martin magic. You can talk about hide gluers, braces, or all that, but it's all about the Martin magic. So, not to belittle this point, but Martin really settled on an X-brace pattern that everybody copies to this day. And you're going to find that, the higher end builders, the independent makers, they all have to, at some point, create a nod towards old Martins, and that's what brings me here. I have this, which is a 1958 0028. So 1958, for those of you that need visuals, I know I do, 0028. So the 000 size is the biggest size. Then there comes the dreadnought. And this 0028, we may have shown you before, this is Brazilian rosewood, and it's a book matched top back. And book match sides, and a Sitka spruce top. Now this guitar, a beautiful guitar. Delicate yet powerful because of the Brazilian rosewood, and that type of Brazilian rosewood simply isn't available anymore. Now, there's a general time period for Martins that from 1930 to 1944 is Martin's finest hour, and guitars in that era will cost 2 or 3 times what a guitar from a later era will be. So a 58 0028 will be much less, half the price of a 38 0028. And a lot of it has to do with the bracing. And in 1944, they stopped scalloping the braces. So this scalloping you can see right there, right, is scalloped. Now that is a non-scalloped brace. In other words, they don't take away, they leave the full braces there for the heavier strings. In 44, they were having trouble with people putting heavy strings on in 44, so they stopped scalloping. After 44, we got these heavier braces, and that existed until really the 80s. And it was special order only if you had scallop bracing. So this is a 1941, a pre-war 0021. Now this is a 28. And here's some differences in these two. You can see the white piping on here and the tortoiseshell binding on here. And then if you look closely, I'm going to show you that there is a snowflake inlay on these. And then on this one too, there is the graduated dots. They get smaller as you go up the neck. And there is also, if you look around the sound hole, you can see there is some herringbone trim around there, and this is the more plainer sound hole. So these are features, these snowflake patterns, The herringbone trim, that, well, the herringbone lasted a couple of more years, but the bracing and the dot inlays all ended in 44. Now, a 1941 0021 is a really interesting guitar. They sold 63 guitars of this model in 1941. They sold about 600 D18s. It's a kind of rare guitar. The 021s and the 0028s sold in about equal numbers. Huge, resonant. It also responds to the lightest touch. Both these guitars are clean and honest. This guitar's never had a strap button. This guitar has its original end pin. This guitar has its original back stripe, and of course it is a book matched back. And then really, for you guys, if you're interested in guitar history and someone calls you up and says, hey, I see an old Martin, one of the things you'll ask, of course, you look inside here and you see it's a model, but does it have snowflake inlay or dot inlay? That gentle little thing is one of those little touches, and that doesn't make it worth more money. It's a symbol of a time period when things were handmade. This is an Adirondack spruce top. That is a Sitka spruce top. Although that is a wide bordered Sitka spruce top, and this is a pretty close pattern Adirondack top. Kind of funny. These 1941 era Martins come up so little. A Brazilian rosewood early 40s Martin is a big deal. It's a very difficult guitar to find. We do this for a living, and for decades we've probably only seen this level of guitar maybe once a year, maybe. So that's my video, and I'm going to show you here in these overlays this beautiful herringbone trim and the inlays, the gentle inlays. And you should come in and take some time. And this is a guitar, the level like this will always go up in value. They have for the past 50, 60 years, have always gently risen in value. And there's a reason for that, because they're in such high demand. Listen to that. Magnificent. Really, two investment grade Martins from America's oldest family owned company. Cool.